Well, the Nigerian Electoral Reform Coalition has provided a platform today for people to express their opinion and share ideas and views as of how to improve on our electoral process and how to make it more credible and transparent. And this is important in view of our history as a democracy in the last 25 years, where elections has always been contentious and elections have always been a threat to peace, to the unity and the survival of our democracy itself, which is supposed not to be so. This platform is important in the sense that ideas that are generated from this forum can help policy makers, can help lawmakers, can help the political class to see that our democracy is refined and groomed for our future. People always ask the question, what is a democracy? And democracy has always been defined by the quotation from Abraham Lincoln, where he said, for, by, and of the people. But in the real sense, democracy is a system of government that comes through a transparent and credible electoral process and that has within its components respect for fundamental rights, respect for the Constitution, respect for the principle of separation of powers, respect for judiciary, respect for law and order, and respect for the people. This is very important. And one of the problems we face as a country is that our electoral process has always been problematic in the sense that the theory has always differed from what is in the practice. If we have a political system that is being controlled, manipulated, and dictated by a few against the wishes of the majority, then what we have is more or less a modified form of military government. If we are going to save this democracy, everyone must do his bit. The political class must not hijack the democratic process. They must ventilate it and make it possible for people's votes to count. The people who are the electorate must also detoxify their minds and their greed. The idea of receiving money from politicians to vote is suicidal to our democratic process. A democracy where you have to pay money to win primary elections, you have to pay money to win the general elections, that is a threat to the democratic process itself. And then the electoral empire in the country must also perform its job responsibly and professionally. So far, many things have been said against Professor Mahmoud, but it is on record that Mahmoud is leaving behind a democratic system in Nigeria where the Labour Party is in charge in Abia State, where the People's Democratic Party is in charge in Osun State, where the APGA is in charge in Anambra State, where the ANPP is in charge in Kano State, and where the APC has won the dominant majority. I hope and I pray that may we not look back and say that Professor Mahmoud was better than the person or the people who are going to take over after him. Because if you have a democratic process that is only tilted to one side, we have a problem. What we are having today in this country is that people are gravitating to the ruling party. Well, it is not the responsibility of the ruling party to stop people gravitating towards them. It's not the responsibility of the ruling party if people are moving towards them. It is the duty and responsibility of the opposition to make sure that they create the enabling and conducive atmosphere for the opposition to remain within their fold. If you can't get justice in the ruling party and you move to the opposition, you cannot also get justice there. Then the problem is that there will continue to be depletion of forces in the rank of the opposition, and that is not the responsibility of the ruling party.
So what would you say, as someone who's been in the opposition before, what would you say are some of the key challenges that is making people leave the party, and what do you think can be done?
Well, there are a number of factors that makes people to leave the opposition parties. One is lack of internal democracy. When you have one person dictating who is going to be chairman of the party, who is going to be secretary of the party, who are going to be treasurers of the party, who are going to control the party, and also who is going to get the tickets of the party, then the opposition is not different from the ruling party. And it is sad and unfortunate that even to get the ticket to run under opposition parties nowadays is even more expensive than getting a ticket to run under the ruling party. So opposition is supposed to behave differently, supposed to act differently, supposed to operate differently, and they're supposed to be on a higher moral ground, on a higher professional ground, on a higher ground of respectability and responsibility. But where the opposition is becoming worse than the ruling party, then you will naturally have people going out of them.
Now, by May 29th,
Looking at the way our leaders are defecting from one party to another, didn't you look that it doesn't look that we are practicing one party in the country, sir?
Well, one party system is a system where there is a law that enacted that such party should be one, like you have in China, like you have in North Korea, like you have in Cuba. But the one party gravitation in Nigeria is more of a choice than a law. There are multi-parties in Nigeria where you can belong. And it is natural for the ruling party to market their own services and their goods and to attract membership. So it is also for the opposition to look at that and make it easier for people to remain within the opposition party. If you look at the movement from PDP to APC, now PDP has been enmeshed in a miserable, despicable, and suicidal crisis. A crisis that makes it impossible for people who are holding position to be sure of getting their next ticket. Where you have an opposition party that has almost 2 secretaries, where will you belong? You don't know where you'll go and get the nomination form, and you don't know who is going to give you the ticket to contest election. So naturally, people have to be very concerned about that. So the inability of the PDP to address its domestic problem led to the exit of many of its members. The same thing with the Labour Party today. And I believe that the judgment that says that internal positions in parties are internal party affairs only creates room for chaos. So, crisis within the opposition party is the major reason why people are leaving the opposition party, not necessarily the actual import of it. Take, for example, I am a first-time serving governor in the PDP, and I want to go for the second term. And my party is in crisis. So I don't know who is my secretary out of the two, and I don't know which of the faction I shall belong. So if I remain in PDP, and the time comes for me to get re-elected, the two people who are fighting will say I should come to them and get the expression of interest form. So where will I go? Where you have such kind of mortal division in the PDP, people are bound to leave. And I foresee the possibility of almost all the governors of PDP moving to the APC, especially the first time serving governor, not the second time. Because you can't get a ticket to contest in a party that is enmeshed in intractable crisis. The governor of Delta State is a first-time serving governor, and he wants to go for the second term. And then he now goes to the headquarters of the party and see two offices of different secretaries, and also see that the leadership and the membership is divided between the faction of Atiku and faction of Wiki. What will he do? And if he picks one ticket and the other one goes to court, what will become of him? So this is what is likely going to happen. It's not the APC that people want a platform where it's stable. It's like now you have two vehicles, and one has a doubt, an uncertain tires, and the other one's tire is okay. So which one are you going to go with? So that is why the defections is going to be from the first time serving governors. And the same thing with legislators at the National Assembly. You are a senator, and you want to be re-elected, and your party is in crisis. So what do? The party that offers you the ticket or possibility of a ticket is where you are going to. So that is my own idea and observation on the matter.
All right, sir. As President Tinubu winds up, 2 years in office, what is your charge to him amidst global geopolitics with Trump in office and the price of crude oil per barrel dropping below what was projected for the budget? That's raising a lot of concern. So what do you think the president can do more to beef up what he has done in this past 2 years?
You see, from the day that President Tinubu announced his series of reforms, I know that he's going to be in trouble with the people, because those reforms came with pains and sufferings and hardships. And it is natural if you attempt to renovate your house, there will be inconveniences. But it is also the law of reforms anywhere in the world. Wherever you see governments implementing reforms, people are bound to suffer some form of hardships. But once the produce and fruit of that reform start emanating, then the views of people will change. He has made some giant steps in a number of areas, particularly in security in northern Nigeria. There are still kidnappings and banditry and terrorism going on. But the fact that when last have you had our schools being attacked and students being kidnapped? Kaduna Abuja Road is safer, and the trains are safer than they used to be. But Boko Haram is still raging attacks in northeastern part of Nigeria. That aspect is there. And for the fact that the looting of treasury of government that happened under Buhari, there is some level of check now. It's something to appreciate. But the suffering and hunger among Nigerians is true, and the rising level of poverty is also a fact on the ground that the government need to work hard for the peace and security of this country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will have to go.